All right, guys, so this is a preacher curl setup. So you're gonna notice that I have it at the same height that I set up if you've watched our videos for leg extension, prone leg curl. It is about a hand's width below my hip, 11 holes up from the bottom until you hit the carriage with 1 inch hole spacing. Now, with it set up this way, you can pull a bench over, do seated preacher curls. So what this does is this height allows us to do a lot of movements without having to adjust the carriage up or down. So at this height, we would be doing it seated. You could set it up standing if you preferred to do that and not use a bench. You would just simply move it upright a little bit higher. One of the other things that you'll notice is that the weight pin is up a little bit higher on the weight sleeve. That's because the preacher curl is a more challenging movement to do. And if you have the weight pin all the way at the bottom, 45 pounds, 25 pounds feels very heavy. So I suggest moving this up, and that's going to resist the feeling of a crazy overload with a light weight. So this is gonna make it to where it's gonna feel more manageable. Now, you can set different angles with the pad, depending on how you wanna mix up the preacher curls. You just wanna make sure that it's in the appropriate port so that your elbow is aligned with the pivot point here. You also wanna make sure that your wrist is pretty close to aligned with the input point here. So it can be a little bit in front of it, a little behind, but somewhere in that range is gonna put the handle where it should be, so that you end up having hand or wrist in alignment here, elbow alignment here. Now I'm set up pretty good. So you wanna make sure that you're at a height to where your arm is completely stable, tricep on the pad, and I'm gonna curl all the way up, and I have tension all the way back down. So this, in this seated version, with a pretty standard slant for the pad, allows me to set up at this height, and again makes it pretty easy so that I could easily set this back up for leg extensions, leg curls, rowing with a strap, and a bunch of other movements. So this is kind of an easy way to set up for the seated preacher curl, and I hope it helps you guys.